Dial-A-Ride is a free door-to-door bus service for disabled and elderly Londoners who are unable to use public transport.
Dial-A-Ride is a service that is used by thousands of older and disabled people across London, and for those people who are able to get trips, are able to get through to the call centre, and are able to use the service and get to where they want to be, it works fantastically.
I'd just like to say it's 2009. We're still discussing problems with Dial-A-Ride. I've been using Dial-A-Ride for 20 years. The service has gone downhill rapidly.
I mean, Dial-A-Ride is a very, very good service. The drivers are exceptionally good, if you can get it.
The scheme is funded and managed by Transport for London, who assumed responsibility in 2000, then reorganised and centralised it in an attempt to improve the service to its users.
As we know from our customers, the trip delivery, once you've booked a trip, is very good and people have a high satisfaction with that. But what we need to be able to do is try and satisfy more of the trip requests and allow people to come through to the call centre a lot quicker.
But many of the users feel the service is failing them as a result of the centralisation.
Well, since it's been taken over and we've got the new setup, it's been dreadful, to be quite honest. I mean, they change our time without letting us know. They then insist that they have informed us all, which they haven't.
London Dial-A-Ride, I have known many people to be left stranded. In fact, I've been left stranded myself at Waterloo Station.
Well, I've been an assembly member for a year now, and right as soon as I got elected, my post bag and my email inbox was filling up with lots of complaints across the whole of London from Dial-A-Ride users telling me the terrible experiences they've been having, whether it's going to the theatre in town and being left abandoned in the centre of London with no trip back, whether it's trying to get to their doctor appointment and having to allow 3 or 4 hours to get there and back because they couldn't actually give a specific time that the person wanted. And so the committee in March really just confirmed all my fears, really, that the service isn't delivering a good quality service to some of our most vulnerable Londoners.
I was at Brent Cross, right, and I'd arranged my pick-up. Anyway, I got back early and I phoned them and I said, look, just in case you want to make it early, I'm here. Not to worry if you can't, I'll stay for the usual time, okay? Anyway, it got to near the usual time. Nothing happened, no one arrived. I phoned them and I got an answer and they said, oh yes, the driver would be on his way. Nothing happened, no driver turned up. I rung and rung again. And then they weren't answering the telephone to me. So I've ended up getting the cab home. After that, it was full of apologies, but that doesn't help me. I mean, I'm home by then and getting all these apologies.
How late was it?
I got home about 8:30 in the end.
Instead of getting home at?
Well, I should have got home around about 6, 6:30.
I see one time they didn't pick me up at all. I was supposed to be picked up at 5. They didn't come. I phoned. At 7 o'clock, after 7, I had phoned my son-in-law and he had to drive out and pick me up. They didn't pick me up at all. I got no apology or anything.
We do recognise that the number of users have been frustrated over the last few years. We recognise it's a very valuable service we provide to them, and so obviously their ability to book and take trips is very important.
I don't really, to be honest, I don't really trust them. Because I know some people use Dial-A-Ride, some of my friends used Dial-A-Ride before. And basically if you go to a place, you have to come back home. So some of my friends, they have been taken to their destinations, but they never managed, like Dial-A-Ride never turned up to bring them back home. So some of them, they have been stuck, in the freezing cold weather outside. So I don't really want to end up in this situation.
They do not tell you when they change the time of the vehicle. And that is the biggest bugbear that I've got with Dial-A-Ride. They change the time, they do not tell you. You're waiting like a lemon. And most of the time I wait outside because I live in a mews and the vehicles can't get down there. And that is not very nice on a cold or wet day.
We're not parcel van drivers. We're dealing with people. And we're very frustrated by the way that we seem to be treating people at the moment. people being told one time for a job, you turning up half an hour later. The passengers do understand this, but they understand that system is the problem. We want to be able to do a good job. And at the moment, you just come back at the end of the day, you want to bang your head against the wall.
The most recent frustrations I'm experiencing is arriving late on to our social club on a Wednesday. I find it very upsetting because actually sometimes a week I only go out twice a week, so I look forward to my day out meeting the girls, etc. And not being able to sit and have a coffee before maybe the first round of bingo starts or whatever, it spoils it for the whole day. People don't realise if you're stuck indoors 7 days a week and you look forward to your Wednesday, you might have a conversation with someone on the phone, etc. But you look forward to seeing these people on a Wednesday, and you just literally haven't got time to speak and or talk things over, etc. What's been happening with yourselves, and it just upsets the whole day.
And when you've got social clubs in London, that seems to be one of the very, very particular problems. Lots of older people getting together once a week and they can't book a journey every week, so it's affecting their social life. So I think coming up with some really practical solutions that could resolve some of that, which means older people and some of the very vulnerable people we have in London aren't effectively trapped in their homes, which I think they are at present.
In Dial-A-Ride we've got 450, 500 people, drivers, reservationists, some of them you can see here working away. And they're all, 100% behind delivering a good service. We do understand that the importance of this service to our users. It's most able-bodied people can jump on a bus or jump on the underground and travel where they want to. And we do realise that Dial-A-Ride needs to be as flexible as possible and try and meet individuals' needs, because it's their way of accessing lots of things and getting out and about around London.
We've had massive frustration over this booking system. Because it's not only, it's stressing the drivers out because they can't keep to the schedules. And the other problem is it's stressing the passengers out. It's terrible. They can be on the phone for ages trying to make a booking.
All our agents are busy and your call has been placed in a queue. Good afternoon, Dial-A-Ride.
I would like a trip, if possible, 8:45 pick up to Turnham Green.
Checking the time for you.
Thank you.
Okay, at the moment I'm not finding this time for you. Is there any earlier or later time?
9 o'clock.
It's from 8:30 till 9, but now I'm searching from 8 till 10.
No, 10's too late. They'll be there for 9:30, so that's why I gave myself 3/4 of an hour. 8:15. 8:15. Well, that means I'm standing outside a station for an hour.
I'll try my best to see if I can find your nearest time, but... No, 8:15 is the only one, otherwise I haven't got nothing.
Well, the most important thing, and it's one of the things that I haven't been doing, is they need to really listen to the passengers and really listen to the drivers, because they're so divorced from it over there.
If anyone knows the knowledge, speak to your drivers.
They're very good, incidentally, and very helpful.
They help you as much as they can.
Very helpful. But they suffer an awful lot because of all this controversy.
You see, the people there in the office, they don't know one area from the other.
I think it's because ultimately, because we're scheduling trips in such an efficient way. Traditionally, drivers and users were used to certain routings and things, and that may not be the most efficient way of running it, because you have to see the whole driver's duty to realise how we're trying to piece the various journey requests together.
They still obviously use their statistics, which they think, stack up, and we question that. But I think they do realise the service isn't working. At Transport for London boards, and that's chaired by the Mayor of London himself. You actually see it's one of the few services in Transport for London that month in, month out has a red indicator. It's not working. And that's why, as the Transport Committee representing Londoners, we're there to try and ask for improvements and try and make practical suggestions working with some of the service users.
This is City Hall. where the Greater London Authority is holding a meeting to review the service in response to the many complaints it has received from the many dissatisfied Dial-A-Ride users.
You may not like our survey data, but 92% satisfaction rate is actually very high in comparison.
It is very high, and that's why we're questioning it.
Dial-A-Ride can take me on over 95% of the journeys, but they can only bring me back on 50%. And therefore, I only go on 50% of the journeys. And most of the time that I do travel on those 50% of the journeys, I have to arrive at my destination at least an hour to an hour and a half before. So that makes a decision whether I even want to bother or not.
3 hours outside Southwark Cathedral, waiting for Dial-A-Ride to pick me up. And we were ringing every 15 minutes, and they were telling me it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. And I was sitting amongst drunks and these people who take drugs. Yeah.
Can I just say, you know, we keep coming back to this thing. It's the centralisation at all costs on all aspects of the operation that's hemorrhaging Dial-A-Ride.
We will certainly, I think, arising from this, be writing in detail to Transport for London. I think we're all very struck by the fact that we've had evidence from all over London. I mean, people have come from all over London, and a great deal of consistency of comments about the problem, certainly the scheduling and the phone service, but many other issues as well. I think one of the things that prompted this meeting is the thought that TfL seemed to be in denial about the service failings in this area.
The scrutiny at City Hall was very interesting in so much as the Transport for London managers that were there, you know, at last understood the kind of depth of feeling that people have on this issue, and the fact that so many users were there as well, I think, underlined this fact. I think really for us now, you know, we want to see some action, we want to see some changes made to the service. We don't want Dial-A-Ride to be seen as a poor relation in the Transport for London network. You know, we have an ageing population in Britain. More and more people will, you know, be needing accessible transport. And also, if you look at what disables people, in a sense, it's actually, you know, getting older, and that is going to happen to every single person.
I think as part of our next step, it's to talk to drivers, it's to talk to service users, and to talk to those running the call centre and in Transport for London, to really try and get the step change in this service so that no matter who you are in London, you have equal access to transport.
Dial-A-Ride is a highly valued service. However, what is clear is that many users and drivers are angry and frustrated. The benefits of new technology and of the centralisation are not yet apparent. By making this film, we hope to draw attention to the Cinderella service, which provides a much-needed lifeline to Londoners who have no other means of getting out and about.